For the longest time, we've been basically told that there's a group of people out there that are not supposed to be in the United States that are destroying the United States. And while that is not necessarily untrue, I'd like to point out the fact that there's a second group that's destroying the United States, and in addition to the political people and the people on the wrong side of the political side of things. Anyway, but those people really fall into this category, and that is the people for whom the destruction of the United States is big business. That's right. They're making an awful lot of money at destroying the United States. We're going to talk about the people making lots of buku bucks while doing things that absolutely devastate the United States, that embezzle money out of the country. We're going to talk about what's going on over in Minnesota. We're going to talk about some of this feed the future garbage that happened, and we're going to take a look at some of the church groups that made this all happen. That's right, church groups making money in order to bring the Somalis in, who then embezzled and stole from the U.S. government and the Minneapolis, as well as all these other feeding programs. We're talking hundreds of millions of dollars stolen and sent to Somalia to fund the very terrorists that we are saying that we're against. We're also going to talk about what's happening what happened down in Washington, D.C. The guy that put the pipe boom booms out in front of the Republican National Convention and the DNC buildings on that fateful day in the Capitol long time ago, and why we couldn't find them before. Well, now we know why we couldn't find them before, and now we know why the government didn't want to find him. Because they still want to leave you with the impression that this guy is some sort of a supporter of President Trump, when in fact he was anything but. We got that and a whole lot more. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. We get you the news, we get it to you fast, and we go straight to the point. We tell you up front what's in the video, and we deliver on it. All right, friends, we're going to get to what's happening over in Minnesota, but I'm going to start at the top of my list here. Brian Cole Jr., the 30-year-old Virginia man arrested for placing pipe boom booms outside the DNC and the RNC headquarters. This is in the Capitol building, outside the Capitol building, of course, right? Everyone's like, it's so strange. There were things planted, and yet nobody was ever arrested for that. That's why a lot of people were like, did the FBI do it? Well, Dan Bongino and the FBI finally did get the work accomplished of finding out who this person was. They went through all the hardware shops out there of end caps for those pipes, and went through all the receipts, found the right one of the guy who actually did it, cross-referencing cell phone data, I'm sure, and all that stuff. Anyway, they found the guy. This is the guy that bought pipe end caps that really has no reason to be buying them, and then on top of that, also, they could pin him in Washington, D.C. So, who is this guy? He's a MAGA guy, right? I mean, he's absolutely all for President Trump. Well, not exactly. January 5th, 2021, he was running statewide bail bonds with his father, specializing in freeing illegal aliens from ICE custody. Oh, wait, he was freeing illegal aliens from ICE custody using bonds, and he sued the Trump administration in 2019, the Department of Homeland Security. He sued the Trump administration for discriminatory practices. Well, he lost on November 10th, just weeks before he decided to go boom boom on stuff. Yeah. This guy is no fan of President Trump, in fact, an enemy of President Trump, and he's the one who planted the boom booms. And everything you've been told up to this point has been a lie. The mainstream media didn't care about the facts, didn't care about the fact that people on a certain side of the political spectrum don't ever use boom booms. And every single political boom boom that has been planted almost exclusively has been one side of the political spectrum. So is it any surprise that those people are behind what happened there again? Yes. And the big business doesn't stop. The FBI decided that they just weren't going to investigate it. Was it because they investigated a little bit, found the guy, and were like, you know what? This doesn't fit our narrative. Let's just forget this lead. Well, they didn't get any new leads. They didn't have any new testimonies. Nothing new happened. They just actually had to do the work. And only under this administration did they actually do the work, just bothering to do the work for one of the most violent acts on that day. Right. All right, moving on. $250 million stolen from child nutritional assistance. Just remember, every time that those people over there tell you, we just need a little bit more money so we can feed the kids. Well, all that money that was dedicated to feeding the kids, or just feeding the kids, turned out that what it was going towards actually was going to Al-Shabaab so that they could rape, torture, and mutilate little kids. Anyone have anything to say about that? No. It would have been better if we hadn't spent that money to just feed the kids, right? Because that's what it was going towards. Al-Shabaab over in Africa, a group that is so bad that the United States is attacking them with special operations teams and dropping ordnance from 40,000 feet on top of them. This is a group that has done awful atrocities in Kenya, Somalia, Ethiopia, and surrounding countries. Al-Shabaab is a horrible, horrible group, and yet people in Minnesota decided that it would be a great idea to steal money from feeding kids and send it over to them. Over $50 million has been confirmed to have gone to Al-Shabaab, and $250 to $300 million stolen. $250 million stolen from child nutritional assistance, and we had a court case just starting just about now. The first 7 of 70 defendants are on trial this week. They're in the 4th week of testimony, actually, so it started a couple weeks ago, in a trial that could last 6 weeks or more. Prosecutors have detailed how the 7 defendants were connected to 50 food distribution sites. They set up 50 food distribution sites where they didn't actually serve any food, to serve 18.8 million meals, for which the defendants were paid $41 million. Just stole the money, walked away. Well, they're on trial now for that. It was a dizzying array of nonprofits created to provide or participate in a U.S. Department of Agricultural program to provide free meals to children during the pandemic. Yeah, that's right. During the cough, they decided, hey, let's feed the kids. And so they threw money at it. And some people were like, we will take your money. We won't give you what you're asking for. We'll just take your money. And that's what they did. Not only that, but a nonprofit created 25 years ago to help Somali refugees and immigrants get on their feet received over $1 million overseeing other nonprofits that claim to give out free food to children. So did they use that $1 million to oversee these other nonprofits? No, of course not. When you're stealing money, you have plenty of money to pay off the people who are supposed to be watching you. And that's exactly what happened. The Feeding Our Future organization was supposed to be the guardian and watchdog of these other organizations, and they absolutely did the opposite. They embezzled and they encouraged embezzling of federal funds and state funds. One of the nonprofits that has shown up sporadically during the 17 days of testimony so far is the Somali Community Resettlement Services, which was formed in Rochester, New York in 1999 to, quote, directly respond to the needs of Somali refugees and immigrants with an emphasis on personal capacity. A year later, it added a second location in Faribault, and in 2019, another in Minneapolis. Shortly thereafter, the pandemic hit, and they decided to steal money. About a month ago, Representative Hodan Hossan, which, I mean, doesn't that sound like an American name? This is a Democrat in Minneapolis, withdrew 2 bills. Just wait till you hear what the bills were. That would have given the Somali nonprofit $6.5 million in grants. Hassan, who announced in February that she will not seek re-election in November, did not respond to a request for comment, but evidence prepared by the federal trial linked the nonprofit to the Feeding Our Future case. They're still trying to shovel money into this cash laundering service. How many of these politicians were directly paid or their campaigns were funded by all of this money? We saw what happened through the USAID at the federal level, and now we're seeing at the state level where the same kind of thing was happening, but using these funds. And as someone who's worked in kind of these international humanitarian organization networks and stuff like that, I have seen so much money wasted. And this is the money that actually makes it to the field. The money that makes it to the field is so awfully used and used to harm people in many cases instead of helping them. It's really tragic and really astonishing, honestly. Only when they tend to partner with smaller nonprofits did they ever actually accomplish any of the goals that they were looking to do. But you also realize like how much of this money even gets out of the United States in order to go overseas. Now the Europeans are basically the same way. They say this money is to help the poor people. But the money ends up turning into a slush fund, which they can then fund all of their other priorities. It's like a credit card with no accountability. Because, you know, where did that $100 million go? Oh, well, we spend it on, you know, the people in Africa. Oh, okay. Can we ask where in Africa? Oh, it's hard to report stuff there. So the money went there. It's just, you just have to take our word for it. Oh, really? So how many houses do you have? You're only getting paid $150,000 a year, and yet how do you have 3 or 4 mansions? Like, how does that work? Oh, well, you know, our family is rich and stuff like that. No, your family's poor. How did you get all that money? Well, you know, when you steal stuff, it works out, doesn't it? And like I said, church groups are in on the embezzlement too. Lutheran Social Services and the Catholic Family Services, yeah, Catholics and Lutherans behind it all again, can you believe that? They receive federal funds for refugee resettlement. They receive $2,400, $2,425 per refugee. This is through the State Department for each refugee that they resettle. That's pretty big business. I mean, how much do you get paid for moving a family of 4 or a family of 6 or 8? You make a lot of money off that. I mean, you just have to settle them in a little bit, and boom, you make buku bucks. Yeah, these nonprofits making lots and lots of money. These grants were supposed to be for housing and transport, but when you talk to the Somalis and you talk to the others, did they receive much from these groups? Not very much at all. Where does all that money go? Does it go into political action committees? Does it go into Act Blue, the money laundering online system? Unfortunately, a lot of it probably does. And we don't know about this stuff because we're not allowed to ask because, you know, it's for the poor people. Well, friends, considering how much money has been spent on the poor people, it's amazing that there are any poor people left. And yet what we do see is that certain people who run these foundations, you ever notice that? The people who run the foundations are extremely wealthy. The people that run the foundations get massively wealthy, but the people that are poor, that are supposed to be receiving the help, never seem to get anything. Clinton Foundation. Oh, yeah. Sorry, just had something on my throat there. Just thinking about Haiti and all the houses that they built down there for the millions and millions and millions of dollars of donations they took in for that. Yeah, go ahead and Google that one and just keep searching until you find out what happened to Haiti and Bill and Hillary's wonderful foundation that helped absolutely nobody. Anyway, you just see countless examples of this. The money is embezzled. Now, there's great organizations out there. There's great organizations that have financial accountability, particularly the organizations where you donate money to, like Samaritan's Purse, some of these church groups that actually believe in the Bible, actually think God is a he and stuff like that. Anyway, a lot of these organizations are great. But the organizations that mostly are funded by government contracts tend to be very, very, very corrupt. And that's my word on that. It's become great big business to tear down the United States piece by piece just so that you can taste that sweet, sweet nectar of government contracts. Well, friends, it's time, and it's beyond time, that this gets exposed, and it is slowly getting exposed, and the cockroaches are running in every direction. It's glorious to see, but it's also really, really scary to see how bad things are. We all kind of knew it was like that, but now that you see it, you can't unsee it, and you have to remember that this has been going on for decades. Decades with nobody holding anybody accountable. And now 70-some people over in Minnesota are getting theirs slowly but surely. And these are the people that were just so unpolitically connected and just so terribly bad at their fraud that they got caught. How many thousands, how many tens of thousands more are deeply politically connected and much better at hiding their tracks? We're going to find out if we continue to win, we're going to find out that there has been a staggering amount of money moved by the federal government and state governments straight into the pocket of these people, and it's atrocious. And it's astonishing also to see that they sent this money not only to the political factions that they like here in the United States, but also to terrorists around the world. Yeah. Money that was supposed to be spent on children's food being spent on terrorism. Well, that's kind of normal for socialists if you think about it. Try not to think about it too much. All right, friends, thanks so much for joining with us. If you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right up here. I'll see you over there, or I'll see you guys later. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report out.